Hello and welcome back to the show Face It, presented by Fayette County Public Schools and the 16th District PTA. We just want to remind you that during these challenging times, we believe that it's better to face it together. The Face It Show was created for a shared space and time, as well as allowing a virtual interaction to discuss relevant topics that are happening right now in real time and the topics that are at the forefront of your mind.
This is a time for us as a family and a community to engage together and support each other. Face It is a platform for real talk, real relationships, and real ways for us to express what we're feeling.
I am Melody Westerfield, the FACE, the Family and Community Engagement Liaison at William Wells Brown Elementary School.
And I'm Sharika Smith, Coordinator of Extended School Services, Social Workers, and Mental Health Services for Fayette County Public Schools. Today's topic, we're going to focus on the Fayette County Public Schools Student and Family Support Team and the resources available to our families. We want to make sure all of our families are aware of all these resources that are available to them, especially during the summer months, and any new services that are available in response to this COVID-19. We have a few guests with us today to help us talk about this topic. Keyshawn Huffman, please introduce yourself.
I'm Keyshawn Huffman, the Family Resource Coordinator at Harrison Elementary School.
Welcome. We're excited to have you.
Thank you.
All right, Ms. Shakira Mason, will you introduce yourself too, please?
Hi, I'm Shakira Mason. I'm the Youth Services Center Coordinator at Paul Lawrence Dunbar High School.
Good to meet you, Shakira. And we have a FCPS guidance specialist with us today as well. Mary Adams, please introduce yourself.
Hey everyone, my name is Mary Adams and I'm the guidance specialist, one of the guidance specialists at Bryan Station Middle School, specifically for the Spanish immersion program.
Okay, it's good to meet you all. Welcome to Face It. So without further ado, Mary, Shakira, Keyshawn. I know I know you provided us with your name and your title, but please, each of you, please break down your job title, your job duties as it regards to the school that you are that you work for and the families that you support at your schools. Please do that. Oh, let me just say, Mary, go first. Go first, Mary.
Sounds good. Well, as a guidance specialist, there's no real typical day, as many educators would say, but we provide direct and indirect services to all of our students, and that can look like individual counseling, small group, a classroom setting. We basically address programs and activities and have conversations to assist with any social, emotional, or academic barriers that students might be facing. We also do administrative type tasks that deal with scheduling, Infinite Campus, and those type of things. So lots of different hats that we serve as guidance specialists for Fayette County students.
What about you, Shakira?
Well, I wear a lot of different hats, and again, there's never a typical day. But it's primarily making sure that the basic needs of our students and families are met. That might mean making sure that somebody has assistance with paying utilities, making sure they have housing. I may help a student or family get signed up for McKinney-Vento services. It may mean that there's not another student support employee available, so they'll send the student to me if they just need a timeout or a quiet space to work or just to vent about some things that are going on during the school day. A lot of it is job development and making sure that students and families have stable employment. That's been a real challenge with COVID-19, but there are a variety of things that we do every day.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Thank you. Go on, Keyshawn.
All right, just to piggyback off of Shakira, I mean, it literally is providing the basic needs, but most importantly, on an elementary level, my main goal is to remove barriers that prevent children from meeting their academic needs, and those barriers could be anything from utility assistance, stable housing, employment, food, clothing, I mean, any and everything. We kind of just do it all for our families, and, you know, whatever we can to support their academics so that they are successful and attending school on a regular basis, and, you know, get the support that they need from our staff as well to succeed at a higher level.
Thank you.
I'm so glad you said that, because if you think about it, our families, when the basic needs aren't met, you know, how can our kids really sit and learn and concentrate on other academics, right? So Keyshawn, if families need food or utility help and other basic needs, what resources are available to them?
Oh, there are so many resources now, and especially with COVID-19, it has been beautiful to see our communities come together and just work as a team, and put these children first in their families. Like, it has been amazing. I think that most, if not majority of people have heard about the Pandemic Ebt. So that has been one resource that has become available to our families that are already receiving SNAP benefits. They received an additional $313 per student, and I think 50 cents on their EBT card. And that is to supplement the food that they did not receive while in school in the month of March, April, and May. In addition to the Pandemic Ebt, if you didn't have the card and you do have a student that's on free or reduced lunch, you have the ability to even apply for that. So, you know, if you're in a certain income level and you don't think that you can get food stamps, but your child did receive free or reduced lunch, you will be able to benefit off of that resource. So that's one great thing. In addition to that, we also have our food bank, Pantry, along with other places like Employment Solutions, and then Fayette County Public Schools, that is also offering different feeding sites in different ways for families to come and retrieve food items that they are lacking in their home or in need of. So those are like the main things as far as food. Did you ask me about utilities? Sorry.
Yeah, utilities and any other basic needs.
Yes, so we also know that Community Action is also providing a lot of help with their LIHEAP program. And so the most important is calling Community Action, because we know that funding is available. And so they have their own guidelines on what they need from our families. We unfortunately don't have control over it, but it seems pretty simple. I've had some families that actually reached out, and it's like they just need your bill, social security number, and the funding again is available. So they are able to help pay, you know, your utility bills. There's also a program, an eviction prevention program. I know some families have been facing eviction. I have to find the name of that program, but they are assisting families that are having problems with their landlords and just getting those extensions and having landlords work with them with regard to paying their rent, because many of our families had missed out on a job and they don't have the resource to pay for rent. We all know that the unemployment checks was delayed for many and still delayed for a lot of our families. So that is something that, you know, a organization took acknowledge of and is helping those families, you know, maintain some type of shelter until those resources come available. And I'll get the name of that. Sorry, I thought I wrote it down, but I think we
can. Yeah, thank you. We can put that at announce that by the end. We never want our families to think that the resources end after the school year ends. So thank you so much for sharing that and ensuring that resources are still available throughout the summer. Shakira, did you have anything to add for resources?
I will say that I work with a lot of EL families at Dunbar, and one of the issues that we have is that we have a lot of undocumented students. Excuse me. So one of the things that I'd like to mention is that Community Action is a lot of times able to help some of the undocumented families, especially if there is a student that has a social security number. Perhaps the parent doesn't, but the student does. They wouldn't necessarily be eligible for some of the Team Kentucky funds, but they can apply for the LIHEAP program with Community Action.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Well, Sharika, you're right. With the summer ending, we, like you said, we don't want families to think that services are ending as well. So, Mary, with that being said, with the summer coming up regarding mental health services and wellness, what resources are available to our families?
Well, especially with the pandemic and COVID-19, I think we all can agree mental health is always important, but it has come to the forefront, especially just during time of crisis, and that's obviously where we're at. So if you check out Fayette County's website as well as your particular school website, there should be lots of posting and resources for you for hotlines, community partners, their direct numbers to help you in case your students in crisis or anyone in your family is experiencing some sort of crisis. And also, just if you feel like you need some mental health support, it doesn't have to necessarily be a crisis situation. Those numbers are available to you to get you in touch with either telehealth opportunities, or now as kind of restrictions are lessening, some in-person options are available as well. So please check out those numbers and those resources, because those community partners have worked with our students in the past and know about student needs and can put you in touch with individuals that are particularly specialized for youth. So I definitely encourage you to look at that. Our district also has a mental health resource library with lots of literature, if that's your route that you like to go. Tons of resources and activities and ways to talk to your student about how they're feeling and can help them through those emotions. There's also apps available. So if you check out that, there's some great free resources right at your hand that you can do at home, and not even have to utilize other resources. Also, for particularly during the summer, as far as what the school's offering, we have our Summer Bridge program that'll begin later June and will continue throughout the summer. And during those hours, mental health resources will be available through the district as well.
I feel like I just want to, get a one-on-one session with you, Mary. Like, I just think that I just need that right now. You just empowered me right there. Go on, Sharika.
Awesome. So really quickly, I hate to backtrack, but I think Shakira, one of you all mentioned McKinney-Vento earlier. Does one of you all mind to kind of explain that to our families, just to make sure we're 100% clear on what McKinney-Vento means?
I think I mentioned that. McKinney-Vento is a service for our homeless students within the district. It can be a student that is currently homeless, but it can also be a student that is marginally housed. So for example, if a family is doubled up with another family member or a family friend, we provide services throughout the district to make sure those students have transportation to their home school. I believe, and I can confirm this with James Hodge with the McKinney-Vento office, that even once a student obtains housing, they can maintain a space at the home school. Mm-hmm. But some of the services we provide, again, are transportation, and we can assist with clothing, with food. As usual, we would provide referrals for mental and physical health services. And I think there's something I'm missing, but there are quite a few services that we provide just to provide that stability for our students that are determined to be homeless.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying that. So over the summer, if I find myself in a situation like this, or our families need to change their address for whatever reason, how important is it, Mary, that we utilize Infinite Campus and get that address changed? What can we do to start that process?
First off, it's really important to make sure that your information in Infinite Campus is updated, because that's how the school is going to reach you on a mass level. So any mailings, any one calls that are going to be going out, any emails through Messenger and Infinite Campus, they're going to utilize the information that's in there. So if your address changes or a phone number changes or anything like that, please reach out to the school. At our school, the registrar is the one that updates that information. But if you're not for sure who that individual is at your school, reach out to anyone and they can put you in touch with who can update your information. So that is extremely important that we have that.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And I just want to add, like, some schools don't use Infinite Campus, like so like if you have Dojo and you're a parent using that and you don't know who to contact, just send that updated address to like your child's teacher or whomever the last staff member is that you spoke with, and they will get it to the right person. But don't think that you have to only use Infinite Campus to update that information, because, other schools do use different platforms.
Okay. Thank you.
That was a good point. Everybody doesn't. I found that out last week. Everybody does not use Dojo. Everybody does not use Infinite Campus, and some people use Remind app. So there were some of our teachers and our staff members are using everything. So that was a great point, Keyshawn. So this question is for all three of you, and I really want you to dig real deep for this question. So with all the resources that we're providing right now, and they can, the school provides to our families, what is the resources that you see that is underutilized the most, that you even provide, but it's underutilized the most?
Recently, for me, I have to say food, because a lot of families have received a lot more food assistance, like on their SNAP cards and things like that. So I don't get a lot of food requests anymore. I'm starting to get more utility requests and clothing requests and things like that, but I haven't gotten many calls about food assistance in a while.
Okay, thank you. Mary, you got one, or two, or a couple?
I asked the student support team to kind of help me think about, the resources that we offer and what families are underutilizing. And definitely utility assistance and rent assistance were brought up as resources that are available. So if you need that, please do reach out. As far as the guidance specialist role, I think, again, just kind of the resources sometimes can seem overwhelming because we have so much that you can sift through to help out your student. Again, I'm going back to the mental health thing. So with social, emotional, and connecting with students and kind of managing feelings. So I think sometimes parents or families don't know even where to begin to help their students at home. And so I think just kind of playing around, and maybe even times the issue there, to play around with the resources that are available. But we have a ton. And so don't get overwhelmed by that number. And you can always reach out to student support to help you find a specific resource for what your student is feeling.
Thank you. Shakira?
You're muted, darling.
Shakira,
you're muted.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. I think that at the high school level, parents and students don't realize that we can assist with employment. And especially with COVID-19, there's a lot of unemployment. So I think that we're really underutilized for that. Now, I'll say we don't have a magic wand where we could just wave it and automatically get somebody a job, but we have a lot of resources available. One of the things that we face, especially with a lot of our EL students, is that a lot of those students are really responsible for making sure that the family has enough money to cover rent or to cover utilities because of various situations with immigration. So really connecting them with community resources and making sure that we can find employment that's suitable, making sure that they have adequate transportation so that they can maintain a job once we get one for them. Those are all things that we can help with.
So I love that you said that, and that's almost like one of my personal goals and drive right now, is to make sure that our parents are, they know that there are jobs out there, and there's jobs out there that want them and want to employ them. So that's one of my personal goals. So I'm in love with you right now, but But on our website, it will be attached on Faceit or on our website. I connected with an old coworker with KCC, Kentucky Career Center, who has a list per county of the employers who are hiring right now, and they want to employ everyone. So thank you for bringing that up. I just wanted to add that in there and let everybody know that that is a resource that can be looked up as well.
Yeah, great, good, thank you. Good information. I feel like our student support team at Fayette County has so many answers to so many questions. And even if the student support team doesn't, you all know exactly who to go to find the answer, right? So how do our community partners play a role in providing and filling a need for families? What's that partnership like?
I'll say it's a wonderful partnership. We couldn't do what we do without those community partners. And we've really, I think, strengthened those relationships since the school closure due to COVID-19. We're all working very closely, I feel, with Community Action, with the United Way. In fact, that's probably where we refer most of our students to. We've had the community really come together to offer more assistance than they've ever offered before. We now have the Matthew Mitchell Fund that has provided lots of money to help with payment of utilities, with food, with rent. Coach Calipari's foundation has provided gift cards on a weekly basis at the elementary level, and I'll let Keyshawn address that a little more, but our community partners have gone above and beyond to really make sure that all of our students' needs are met.
Awesome, awesome.
And yeah, so just to add on, the Coach Calipari was definitely I mean, that resource was phenomenal, you know, to be able to touch so many families throughout this process and just provide for them was wonderful. But in addition to him, like for my school in specific, we have a lot of churches that pour into Harrison and love our students and our families. So, you know, we were getting calls and emails like weekly. What do you need? What do your families need? And I mean, when I say gift cards were dropped off, cleaning supplies, just encouraging notes to encourage our families to keep going. I mean, they had to become full-time teachers, and some of them don't, you know, they would let us know, like, I'm not equipped for this, but, you know, our community partners were a huge support and provided so much. I mean, cleaning supplies, hygiene items, the list goes on. And I mean, as simple as like a scrunchie, you know, we got a big number of scrunchies for people to keep their hair together, and brushes and shampoos and lotions. I mean, the list goes on. So, you know, our community churches, they stepped up for our Harrison families and let it be known that like they're here for them 100%.
I also want to mention a fairly new community partner is the FEED program. I started working with them about I guess earlier in the semester, and they have been absolutely wonderful. So we have a food backpack program. We provide snack bags to students on a weekly basis. So I went from having to go out and do all the shopping and all the sorting and all the bagging on my own to literally having Crank and Boom with a partnership through FEED, so do all the shopping, all the sorting, and delivering those to me on a weekly basis. So, I mean, the support has been absolutely wonderful.
Thank you, Shakira. Okay, so all that said, it's hard for our families sometimes to even admit, you know, that they need assistance. I see it for myself. You know, some of our parents, you know, want to be empowered to finish a GED and, you know, apply for a job or to do that resume. And so you really have to build a real strong relationship for them to, you know, be empowered to even come to you with that. My question to you all three of you, how do you empower your or, you know, maybe Shakira and Keyshawn, maybe not so much Mary, but please feel free to answer. But how do we empower our parents to move forward and to ask for the need?
I can start and let the other ones finish this answer, because I do think that self-advocacy is really hard for all ages, for all individuals. I don't think that's something that usually comes very easy to an individual. With mental health, there's sometimes that negative stigma to ask for help, to say, I'm not okay. And I think it's important to acknowledge, especially during a time like this, it's okay to not be okay. And I think for the guidance counselors and for the mental health side, those individual relationships that we have with families, that's just so important, because overcoming that maybe distrust or the cultural barriers that sometimes are there to ask for that help, I think that falls on the individual school. So as far as empowering families for our school employees, I do think that just like anything else, that those relationships that you build, that's going to make it.
Like that answer, Mary. I really like that answer. Shakira? Go ahead. Keyshawn, go ahead.
Okay. I was just going to say, just for me in particular, what I have found myself doing is just connecting with every family that I could throughout this pandemic. Like, it was my goal to make phone calls or send dojo messages to everyone. And you know, some of our families like that will receive the Calipari funding, and I was shopping with them at Kroger, like they didn't even know what to spend this money on. And so I had to encourage them, like, hey, do you have a thermometer? Like those are important right now at this time. So like just kind of letting them know, helping them think outside the box. And I can't, like, you're right. Some of them don't ask because of pride, but some also don't ask because they just don't know what they need. So it's just having that real conversation with them, like, hey, you have this many kids in the home. If somebody's running a fever, you can't get to the doctor. Do you have a thermometer so you can take that temperature on your own? You know, do you have Tylenol so you can help break that fever? Do you have diapers? Do you have formula? Like, just, I literally was going in, and I have a lot of assessment skills just from my previous work and background. So I know how to dig in deep and get those questions, and I'm not afraid to use those skills.
Come on, social worker. Come on, social worker. I do love that answer. You're right. That education is definitely needed.
Yes.
Shakira?
I'd say for me, it's just really taking time to get to know the parents and letting them know that the resources are available. What I've noticed is that there are a lot of parents that normally wouldn't have asked for help that are now in a position where they need help. So just getting the information out there. I've even mailed flyers to parents just to say, okay, these are some resources that are available. These are the things that we can help you with. And even when meeting parents for the first time face-to-face, just taking that time to really just let them vent and talk about whatever their needs are and what their concerns and their fears are. A lot of the parents are really afraid right now. They don't know what's next. They don't know what's going to come. When school reopens, if school's going to reopen, how long are they going to need resources? And just letting them know that we're here. Frisk work year round, so letting them know that we're always available, and that if we don't have the answers, that we'll help them find the answers.
Awesome. Well, you three have been so encouraging throughout this entire session. My last question was really any last words of encouragement. So if there's anything else that you three kind of want to just tell our parents and our families just to empower them, feel free.
I can start, I guess. I panic a little always when people ask me to give words of encouragement, because just know I feel 1000% inadequate at times to have those words. But, you know, just like with parenting, there's no manual that goes with it that says this is how to be a good parent. And there's especially not a chapter that says this is how to run a household during a pandemic. And so there's no right or wrong here. And I think it's important for everyone to know that this is a time of uncharted waters, but we still have to steer the ship. And the good news is that there's a lot of people on your crew. The school district has a lot of resources available to you. And so I always like to find quotes because, like I said, I don't always feel like I have the words. So I fall upon other people that I felt like did. But I found a quote that helped me with this, that Michelle Obama said, that you may not always have a comfortable life and you will not always be able to solve all the world's problems at once. But don't ever underestimate the impact you can have, because history has shown us that courage can be contagious and hope can take on a life of its own. And so life is not comfortable right now. And parents and guardians, please give yourself grace during this time, but know that you do have a really strong impact during this time to help mold young people for when we do come back. And we don't know what it looks like, but we're all here to face it together. And I hope that this summer will bring good change. And I hope that the face that the fall will see will be better teachers, better counselors, better families and students, because we've learned from each other.
That was amazing.
She empowered me, honey. I'm empowered just right now. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm empowered.
I think you did it great.
Yeah.
Good summary.
Bottom line, thank you for that. We appreciate that so much.
But I think also just it's important that they understand that, like, we're here for them. I mean, we are here. We're here. We're wanting calls. We want to hear from you if it's going good, if it's going bad, you know, what's working, what didn't work. You know, we just want to hear from you, and we want to continue that interaction. It's so hard walking into school with no students to talk to and connect with. So, you know, we're having to utilize these Zoom videos and these phone calls. And I mean, it's my only way of having that interaction. So I encourage all families, students, contact your FRC or your teacher or, whomever is open and available at this time, and just connect with us and let us know like how you're doing, what you need, if you don't need, just keep that interaction going, because not seeing students for almost 2.5, 3 months, like it has been a struggle for many of us that are used to seeing children on a daily basis. So.
Kashira, you want to add anything?
I guess I'll just say, Mary already said this, but one of my favorite phrases to share with people is that it's okay to not be okay. And especially during this time, people really need to understand that it's okay to reach out, that, we really want to remove the stigma from asking for help because we all need it at some point. I'd also like to say that we need to make sure that we're checking in on, for the professionals here, that it's important to share information with staff, because a lot of times they have students within the school system that need assistance and they don't even know how to find it. So just share that information with them. And it also helps them to disseminate the information to our families, because a lot of times our teachers are making contacts that we don't know anything about, and they're sharing a lot of information, and it helps to spread a lot of knowledge about the resources that we have available.
Thank you. Everything that you all have said has been great information. I have been empowered to the fullest. I'm full right now from everything that you all have given me. Thank you for coming in and being a part of this this session, our Face It show right now. And for everyone else out there, we would like to stay connected with you and continue to build a stronger community of support with all of our families. Sharika is going to tell us right now how we can do that.
Yes, I sure will. So we would love for you to send us your pictures, your words of encouragement, your videos. We want to share these with everybody. So you can email those to us at faceit@fayette.kyschools.us, or you can text them to 859-903-5531. And on Fridays, we're going to highlight some of those messages that we've received, just to encourage each other and other families.
So everyone, please mark your calendar, because Face It is going live next Thursday, June 11th at 6:30. Remember, we moved to Thursday. So you don't want to miss this interaction. We have the same panel, and we are going to go live, and we're going to interact with each other. We're going to answer your questions live. We're going to discuss some of your comments and suggestions. So please stay connected with us as we continue to face it together. Goodbye, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.